Okay, so increasing, we want to do an increase in the very first chain there, an increase in the last chain there, and we're going to increase the third chain in on each side. We're going to create another 4 chains or 4 stitches in the third row. So your usual 1 chain to turn, but this time, because you want an extra stitch here, you need to do another chain. So do 1 chain, and instead of working into this second chain from the hook for your first stitch, you go into the third chain because it's going to be an increase. Let me take that back and show you again. So you've got 1, 2 in the third chain from the hook. Sorry, that's it. Put your hook through, bring the yarn through, hook onto the yarn, bring it through. So what you've got here, you've got the chain to turn just here. You've got the second chain, which will become a stitch on the way back, and you've got a third chain. So you've done 2 stitches into that 1 stitch. We'll now do an ordinary, a single, double crochet. Now into this next one, we're going to do an increase. So in through the 2 loops of the yarn, bring the yarn through, hook under, bring it through 2. Because we're increasing, we need to go into that same stitch. So hook through, so you've got the 2 loops on top, bring the yarn through, hook under, bring it through 2. Let me undo that and show you again because that's snagging. Okay. Once again, we're in the third chain from the end, hook through the 2 loops of the yarn, of the stitch, bring the yarn through, hook under, bring it through both. Into the same stitch, hook through, bring the yarn back, hook under, bring it through 2. You can just see that there's an increase there. Now work to the third chain from this end. Here we go. You can see with 3 chains, 1, 2, 3 from the end. We need to work 2 into this next one. So hook in. You can see the 2 yarns of the stitch on top. Bring the yarn back. Yarn through both loops on the hook. We need to do another one straight into that same stitch. Hook through, bring the yarn through, hook under, bring it through both. Do 1 double crochet into that chain. Now we're going to do an increase, and there's the last chain there, so we've got to do an increase into this last one. So hook through, bring the yarn through, hook under, bring through both. You've got to go into that same stitch again, so put the hook through, bring the yarn through, hook under both. There you go. Now because we've increased 1 stitch at each end and 1 stitch 3 stitches in, we should have 16 stitches or 16 chains. So again, not counting the yarn that's come off the hook, we should count that we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, because there's that second chain that we used on the turn. Now this is an ordinary row, so there's no increase, so you're going back to do just your 1 chain to turn. 1 chain, turn. Because there's no increase, you work into the second chain from the hook, so not that one, this one here. Second chain, and again, all the way along. Making sure your hook goes through, on the default, goes through the 2 loops or yarns of the stitch. Bring the yarn back through and work your double crochet stitch. Whoops. Do that one again, put it through, there you go. Okay, so now we're coming up to the increase stitch at the end. So you can see that was one of the stitches. There's the increase stitch here, the second one. That's going to be awkward, so let me try and show you the best way. Now you can just see the back of it. You see that little loop, that's the bobbly loop. But if you turn round, you can just see the heart shape of the chain. And that's what we need to do. The default will say, you know, we're trying to do the default method, so we've got to go through both loops of the stitch. I should have done this looser to show you better, but we will get there. There you go. So I've got it through, bring the yarn through, hook under, bring it through 2, and we will have 16. So if we count, let's go from this end this time. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16.